The Life and Sad Ending of Betty Brosmer. Betty Brosmer was born on August 6, 1929, in Pasadena, California, U.S. She lived her early childhood in Carmel but later, from about the age of 10, grew up in Los Angeles. Naturally small and slight of frame, Brosmer embarked on a personal bodybuilding and weight training regimen before she was a teenager. Raised as a sports fan by her father, she excelled in youth athletics and was something of a tomboy. A photo of Brosmer appeared in the Sears and Roebuck catalog when she was 13 years old. The following year she visited New York City with her aunt and posed for pictures with a professional photographic studio. One of her photos was sold to Emerson Televisions for use in commercial advertising, and it became a widely used promotional piece, printed in national magazines for several years thereafter. Winner of more than 50 beauty contests, including Miss Television, before the age of 20, a model for 300 covers of magazines such as Life, Time, Fortune, Look, Saturday Evening Post, she had the particularity of displaying the size most remarkable wasp of all time. This earned her the nickname the Girl of the Impossible Size. Betty returns to Los Angeles. She was quickly asked to pose for two of the era's most famous pin-up artists, Alberto Vargas and Earl Moran. In 1950, her aunt moved with her to New York where she produced her book. Only 15 years old, she worked for 4 years as a model. She poses for several gazettes with Rose Water or Police. At 15, I was doing 25, explains Betty, which allowed me to work easily. The covers follow one another. Picture Show in December 1950, People of Today in July 1954, Photo in January 1955, and Modern Man in February 1955 and May 1955. In 1954, it was used as a fashion model for Christian Dior. At 18, she returned to California. Her perfect measurements 9'6", 4'5", 91 cm still give her so much work. Nonetheless, she continued her studies, majoring in psychology at the University of California at Los Angeles. Glamour photographer Keith Bernard works with her regularly. He also has Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield as clients, but it's Betty Brosmer who represents his best-selling model. Betty Brosmer is the first model to receive royalty fees every time her photo is published, and she owns the publication rights to most of her negatives and photos. She is the highest-paid pin-up of the 50s. Despite her age, over the next 4 years, Brosmer found frequent work as a commercial model and graced the covers of many of the ubiquitous post-war pulps, popular romance and crime magazines and books. As she explained, "When I was 15, I was made up to look like I was about 25. Some of her most famous photo works during this period include glamour appearances in Picture Show, People Today and Modern Man. She was also employed as a fashion model, and in 1954 posed for Christian Dior. She won numerous New York area beauty contests in the early 1950s, most famously Miss Television. In that capacity, she appeared in TV Guide, as well as on the widely seen programs of Steve Allen, Milton Berle, Jackie Gleason, and others. Her fame had grown so much by the age of 18 that when she left New York and returned to California, this time to Hollywood, her departure was noted in the celebrity column of Walter Winchell. Back on the West Coast, Brosmer maintained a busy freelance workload in fashion and commercial modeling, while at the same time continuing her education, majoring in psychology at UCLA. She also entered into a lucrative contract with the glamour photographer Keith Bernard, and she worked steadily with him for the rest of the decade. For Bernard, a well-established photographer who had worked with Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield, Brosmer would prove to be the top-selling pin-up model of his career. Brosmer's publication work during the late 1950s includes appearances in Modern Man, Photoplay, and Rogue. During this time, Brosmer was said to be the highest-paid pin-up model in the United States. She was seen in virtually every men's magazine of the era. Playboy magazine pursued Brosmer for an exclusive pictorial, and a photoshoot was set up in Beverly Hills. The resulting picture set was rejected. However, after Brosmer declined to do any nude posing, "I wore a sort of a half-bra or low demi-bra with nothing showing. And that's what I thought they wanted." Playboy threatened a lawsuit over the alleged breach of contract but ultimately relinquished the case. The photos were eventually sold to Escapade magazine and published in its anthology issue Escapade's Choicest 3. Brosmer never did any nude or semi-nude modeling throughout her long career. As she explained later in life, "I didn't think it was immoral, but I just didn't want to cause problems for others. I thought it would embarrass my future husband and my family." That future husband would turn out to be bodybuilding enthusiast and magazine publisher Joe Weider, who had first become aware of Brosmer through his contact with Keith Bernard for fitness models. Brosmer's first photos for a Weider magazine appeared as a 4-page layout in Figure and Beauty in December 1956. After that, Weider regularly sought out her work among Bernard's submissions. She was known to be his favorite model and he requested her more and more frequently after their first face-to-face meeting in 1959. The two grew close due to their mutual professional and personal interests in fitness and psychology, and they were married on April 24, 1961. The marriage was Joe Weider's second, and he had one daughter from his previous wife. He and Brosmer had no children together. Their marriage would last over 50 years, until Joe Weider's death in 2013 at the age of 93. In 1959, Playboy hires him but Betty Brosmer does not want to pose naked. "I did not want to cause problems to others. I thought it would be embarrassing for my future husband and my family," she explains. The famous magazine tries to sue him for breach of contract, without follow-up. The photos taken were eventually sold to Escapade magazine and published in its anthology issue Choicest in Degree 3. The future husband turns out to be a bodybuilding champion and a magazine editor. His name, Joe Weider. They met in 1956 during a photoshoot for a Weider magazine on fitness. Weider then regularly approached Betty, and it was in 1959 that their relationship became official. They were married on April 24, 1961. They remained together until Joe's death in 2013. These two sports enthusiasts then began a rich editorial collaboration. Betty poses numerous times in her husband's magazines, is editor-in-chief of Body by Betty, Health Betty, and writes 2 fitness guides. Betty Brosmer still lives and is a recognized figure in fitness in the United States. She is in any case forever the Big 8 of the 50s. After marriage, Brosmer ceased posing as a pin-up, but she continued to be frequently photographed. For many years she was seen routinely in Weider publications helping to advertise a wide range of fitness products. She remained a highly visible presence among the various magazines and was continuously included in their editorial photo work as well. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, she appeared in many pictorial layouts, and also often on the covers of Weider titles like Gem, Vigor, and Muscle Builder. Her later cover appearances were sometimes paired with other prominent bodybuilders of the day like Frank Zane, Mike Mentzer, and Robbie Robinson. Her final cover shot was on Muscle and Fitness in May 1988, with Larry Scott. Under her marital name Betty Weider, she served as a regular contributing writer for Muscle and Fitness for over 3 decades. As her writing style developed, she focused on her own monthly M&F columns, Body by Betty and Health by Betty. She also worked as an associate editor for the female-oriented Weider magazine, Shape. With her husband, she authored 2 book-length fitness guides, the Weider Book of Bodybuilding for Women and the Weider Body Book. With Joyce Vidrell, she designed an all-ages workout regimen for women, published in 1993 as Better and Better. In 2004, the Weider donated $1 million to the University of Texas at Austin to support the physical culture collection of the H. J. Lutcher Stark Center for Physical Culture and Sports. The gift was key to the Stark Center's establishment of permanent exhibition space, now known as the Joe and Betty Weider Museum of Physical Culture. The museum holds hundreds of items in its 10,000 square foot gallery space and was opened to the public in August 2011. What is missing in this video? Would like for you to contribute more. Everything becomes nostalgic for us because what has been through is just memorable memories.